Yeah, guys. Today it's something like 5 a.m. in the morning, and I decided that I don't want to play a game and just post another gaming video. Of course, I'll continue doing that because it's a gaming channel and the algorithm will hate it if I stop now. But we'll be focusing on several other channels, and I can tell you with this that practically we are facing, and that's an announcement. Even if like 20 people, for example, see that, I don't actually mind. Uh, the ratio to be much lower than usually, even cause even if one person, and I know several friends will be watching, so even if one person takes something from that video, it will be very important, because I know my friends, most of them, my people I know in general, know what's happening and what's about to happen. Most of them have predicted the possible variations in the near future, but financially, because that's my businesses, my new businesses are all about that, and the financial literacy, financial education, and having some common sense on what's happening now, because the common sense is something that's not so unsophisticated already, and there are so many factors. The market is so volatile. No one actually knows what tomorrow brings. We can't be sure, but there are several possibilities that are more likely to happen, like a whole phenomena, like the cataclysm that's changing everything. Those few very important factors that will surely change the world as we know it, and it's happening. It's inevitable now, unavoidable, literally. And I wanted to tell you what are the best choices before most of the people nowadays. And I have seen recently some phenomena that on the market that have already happened, and they're telling me something, and I wanna share my expertise because I got some of that. I've been on that market for so many years, and I can tell you that I have seen many things, but never anything like that. Maybe since um, 2008, like 2008, that there was the crisis there. It was something similar, but I was still a teenager, and I didn't care so much. If I have to be honest, it we didn't feel it so hard. I would say, like my very like my best friends, my family, etc. So it wasn't so close. I guess um, different factors. And maybe at this point, like a teenager, you don't have so many expectations. So practically at this point, I wasn't, for example, investing still. I was like in my around 16, so I was living, and we didn't feel it. I remember it as phenomena, but I don't have so much look on it, because I didn't actually try to analyze it. But we haven't seen that from around there then. But maybe what's happening now is greater than everything that has happened. Like no one of us have seen anything like that, because literally everything is changing. And I want to say several things that are important, and that are like standardized, that they're available, that they're literally applicable for each and everyone. Even if you are very rich, maybe if you are very rich, like multimillionaire with at least 10 million, like liquid assets, let's put it that way, with assets with big liquidity, so you can transform them into buying force at this very moment. Maybe if you are in that category, you are less, like how to put it, it's not so, it won't be so harsh on you. We were not sure even about that. Of course, the richest people will have some insurance, some shelter, financial mostly, and yeah. But now, first of all, I've seen the governments have made their moves. I didn't expect that to happen so soon. Many governments just before actually the Trump's new mandate um, begin, many governments have made very strange moves, and I will explain exactly what happened. Because I'm having a close eye on the crypto market because I'm investing, and there, like those volatility to the downside is extremely speculative. Many big players have made the market seems like crashing several times with big decisions because the whole market is, the whole crypto market, for example, is extremely volatile, and it depends on factors like opinions, etc. Especially if they're from the government, from the Fed, and from people that are actually involved in the big game. So whales, etc., top players on the market. What is more important here is what are the consequences of that, what is about to happen, and what that means in terms of for the normal people, for the average and a little bit above the average people, for the small and even, let's put it that way, medium business. It depends how much it's earning. It's much more important. The cash flow is much more important nowadays than how many people you have actually deployed. The most important is for it to be working well, because in the near future we will see companies with very few people that are running like big companies nowadays, most probably. But that's not the most important thing. The governments have made several moves which are showing us that they still got some extreme control over the environment, over the financial, economical environment, and they literally can manipulate it. That's what I want to say, that they have manipulated the crypto market as tight as like a fine control. Do you understand? It's like, I can't explain it even. I don't even know how are they doing it. I have been watching several wallets, for example, whales, surely maybe some OG crypto holders, maybe Bitcoin holders, etc. But I have watched, for example, most of the people, like 85% sometimes, being bullish, buying crypto. Some governments buying crypto. let's say buying Bitcoin, and you're seeing that extreme red candle from time to time, and you can actually check. Those are big players selling, for example, 80,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin. Who has 10,000 Bitcoin still to sell now after the first break of the like 100,000? So many players sold there, and I can understand that. But then after that, some extreme whales have been selling. That it doesn't matter. You can check. It's true. Most of the people are buying, and they're buying small time. Even companies are buying small time. Some companies are buying big time. Some governments are like the FOMO from the governments are buying big time. But still, someone is selling even more than that. The red candle that someone sells like 80. For example, 80,000 Bitcoin. Nowadays it's bonkers. After the first like reach of that zone around 100k, still so many players to have so much Bitcoin and to be selling it now doesn't make much sense. I can I can imagine some possible reasons, literally, but they're more further from reality that I can actually evaluate as something that's really true and a fact. I would say it's more speculation, and I guess those players are by somehow manipulated, so to speak, or led to sell now, because it doesn't make many sense to sell on 105k after you didn't sell on 101. I understand that there is a small reason for that, but it was very strange because everything was super bullish, and then some like a pack of bad news for the crypto, like bearish news, were coming each and every day. The taxes, then the employment, the feds couldn't actually buy it wasn't legal nowadays, and etc. etc. After so many bullish news were actually in the media all around a little bit before Christmas, if you remember, when most of the people are buying. So practically, I have always trusted that many people will laugh here, but that the government and the Fed in America is much more serious and more people-oriented. After all, it's making it so the people have some freedom after all. Because if you have an eye on the governments in Europe, they seem more social, but actually the people around Europe are suffering much more than the Americans, and I can assure you that I understand there are like maybe there are some factors that we might tell you a different story, but overall you got so much more potential and so much more choices to become financially free and to become the person you want to be in the US than in Europe. And I mean most of the countries. I'm not talking about Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, etc. etc. Those are exceptions, and most of those very rich and so to speak very well, how's the word now, let's say places with a very big standard, very very social, and on the other hand infrastructure friendly environment that everyone is feeling, kind of that there's some equality in the highs, but those are rare cases. It's good to know about them. You can always move there if you got that, if you want to make that decision. It's not far from the mind, but still that's the only valuable thing about that information, because most of the places, even in Europe nowadays, are suffering. Most of the people, like the average people, are suffering. And why I'm making that video now, because I guess most of the people, even more people will start suffering now, and the old people that were suffering already, that weren't nowhere around financially free or financially independent or financially even stable to that point where their lives actually feel happy, because it's an important factor, in nowadays world, in nowadays society. If you are not a monk, if you are not a guru or something like that, real time, I mean, there are such cases. I respect those, like, if you choose that for yourself, it's perfect. If you can do it, why not? If you feel like that's your path, why not? But if you are in society nowadays, you need money, and you need a lot of it if you wanna feel like happy, literally, because the world is made that way and it's moving. So I have more literally faith in the US government and the Fed than in most other governments around the world, because I have watch those patterns that they're literally trying to at least sell that to the people that they have freedom, and it's happening. Because if you are selling something, it have to happen on a certain percentage, more than like, for example, 10 or 20, and I guess it's happening. From what I've seen, from what I've experienced, and from what I'm seeing, and like overall, I think in the US is like it's a very extremely big country with a giant population, and it's happening to the most people have chances. I'll say that they have chances, much better chances and potential. If you are a hard worker, if you are a smart worker in America, you can easily be financially free. Of course, some of the things are more expensive, etc., etc. The taxes, we won't talk about anything. I won't talk about it. Just anything and everything about that's happening, and I won't evaluate each and everything on that balance. But I'll just say that I have seen, even from that government, and some decisions that have made me think that nowadays governments as such are starting to become a little bit more, and that was a predicted move, because everything is changing now and more people are getting out of the system, out of the matrix, etc., etc. But I'm putting those in brackets, but it's true. Nowadays people are realizing that it doesn't matter. It doesn't so much matter that if you are making small money or smaller money or average money, or even like you are having a big standard but you won't have the opportunity to escape. You don't have an exit plan to become financially free. Those other people that don't have that nowadays will potentially, most probably, start suffering very soon. Everyone who isn't already rich, and I'm saying that I'm making this video now because I think it's just happening. I have never seen anything like that, because I'll tell you, there were some super controversial news. The gov started literally, and in many countries the same thing is happening. The governments are starting with something and they're changing their policies in days, literally. They're changing their decision in days, and many people are making big losses because of that, and that has always happened. Don't understand me wrong. I'm not telling you that it has never happened, but on this scale, like, it's easily, everyone can see it now. The average person with around 100 IQ can, I guess, can see it now. If you are watching, you understand something wrong is happening. They're giving you some signals, and they're you start having some expectations, and you're like, the guys can't be lying about so many things. It's impossible for, so they have a strong word, and they'll keep their promises, at least some of them, at least most of them. And now they're literally changing their position on 180-degree. Literally, they are going into exact different situations from time to time. That happens. I understand the world is changing dramatically, so maybe that's predictable. Maybe that there are reasons that are standing behind that. Maybe we can understand those policies, etc., etc. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that now the small and the average people are suffering financially from those decisions, from those change of positions that are happening on a dramatical scale. Literally, in many big economies nowadays, like top players on the market, like national economies, like are making very controversial decisions. Very controversial news are coming from there, and they are literally going against the people with those news calls. The average person is like, I'm starting to understand what's happening, and they're changing it all in days. in weeks, it's around election. Locally, usually it's happening around election, and many things are changing before the actual new party or leader or whatsoever it comes in power. And that's the time where you can make speculations, because there's no certain, like, the people in power are changing, and it's more normal, and like that you can say no one actually, you can't blame anyone, because it's just happening. It's just a social geopolitical, economical, etc phenomena, and no one actually could take the whole responsibility as a side. But on the other hand, if you think about it, is that the more important thing, or is the most important thing that so many people are misled into believing something, and then the exact opposite thing is happening? And now the thing is that the news are coming from the biggest players, still some of the biggest players on the market, which are actually the governments and the like, I would say, big institutions, etc, extremely big players on the market, even if they're companies, etc, which tells me something, and that's why I'm shooting that video. This tells me that now governments, and everyone can think for themselves, are becoming more totalitarian than they were. Like, now they won't be so user friendly, so person friendly, individual friendly, as they were, as they were meant to be, as we know them. They're not so, I wouldn't say socially oriented. It's not that anymore. I don't like so much social policies. I'd like to see the infrastructure grow, so the people can make more money and feel happier, cause that's how it's working. And the social policies have to just follow that prosperity of the environment locally, and that's the best way for things to happen. Because in many countries we're seeing people suffering from social policies, because the infrastructure is going down, and then the money flow is lower, so people start suffering financially, and from there the happiness is getting lower. We are observing lower levels of stability, financial certainty, happiness, etc for the masses. And from that, that's socially bad, actually. But those are meant to be social policies that are, for example, bettering the lives of those people in need, but on the other hand, someone has to pay, and it's usually the other sectors, everyone else. And like that, it becomes impossible for the happiness to grow, because other people have to work harder, work more, have lesser, like the standard will a little bit drop, and a little bit by little bit, and drops in the ocean. But at the end of the day, it becomes a river, and people start struggling, start making different decisions for themselves. And that's, if I have to recommend something, it's before all else, everyone shall focus, everyone still in 2025, I guess it will be one of the easiest and one of the last years when you can, if you haven't still, if you don't own on your own a brand, something on your own, something you want to fight for, something you want to live for, like your own business. If you don't have that, I strongly recommend it. But even if that's not the case, there are so many options to flip some of your money, some of your financial instruments, capital, to flip it and to multiply it, because that's the best it's still a good moment. Now, more than ever, everything is so volatile that you can use that in your advantage. Other than the other way around, because many people will get confused. The fear will be on a dramatic level after we see those changes broken into reality, because it's starting to happen. It's already happening. Those news are nothing not to be worried about, and people are still not worried enough that there are so many controversial news coming each and every day, and we can see we can potentially see what's behind them. Why is it happening like that? But on the other hand, we have to also reflect on the reality that's a little bit different. That has never happened like on that scale. I don't remember in my life it hasn't happened in this century, I would say, and in the 21st century I don't remember such phenomena on that scale. So most probably, like I said, the governments don't care so much about being cool in the eyes of the people, being the good guys, which has always happened, which has always been like that from when I was a kid. That they were always trying to look like they're the good guys, that they're not totalitarian. There's some healthy democracy, and the leadership is more segregated. Many sides are deciding with the vote, etc., etc. People can literally some referendums, some voting system, so to speak, where people can vote for the most important decisions that are to be made, and that's normal for nowadays democracies, after all. And it's becoming a little bit more. I expect great things from the government, by the way, of Trump, and with Elon Musk in the charge of Dodge. And that regulator, I have always wanted something like that for each and every country, because it's important. Business have to actually regulate the political environment, as well as the other thing is happening. The exactly opposite has happened all the time in human history, from when the economy 2.0 started. So it's very important. That's a very, very good thing to happen, actually. That's a very healthy thing for the overall. So I expect great things from that government. I don't even care what other people think, say, or I expect great things. Maybe there will, because the euphoria will be like in so many sectors, in so many innovations, will just grow like literally from seed to something great, because there will be so much funding, etc., etc. Very, very many fun things to happen potentially, and I expect great things. But on the other hand, I also expect some extreme earthquake in the world market, some dramatic changes, and I guess the governments will stop playing the good guys. Because if we have to agree on one thing, no one is actually believing. Very few people are believing that government are the good guys. They're the the evil you wanna have around you, the lesser evil, that, for example, anarchy, etc., etc. They're if they were on a scale like in D&D, for example, from what's that now? What was the best case? Good. For example, good, I don't know, it's like chaotic good or something like that, to woeful evil, or for example, woeful good. Okay, woeful good is the best possible option. A little bit conservative, but woeful good is always good. woeful neutral. So the governments are those guys that are woeful evil. We know them as such, but we expect from that to play the good guys. And they officially, I guess, at the end of the last year, 2024, I guess, many governments, and I've been observing that I don't so much care about policy. I'm not into each and every aspect of it, but I'm seeing at the end of the day, they stopped playing, that they're stopping to pretend they're the good guys. That at all, literally. I don't know what led to that exactly. I have some leads, but well, it can be so long video, so I won't start with that. You can make your own research or have your own thoughts. Everything we say will be speculation. Even what I'm saying now is speculation, but I'm certain that there's much right in my words. And some of the things that I'm saying now are a fact and are facts, and I expect the world to turn in a similar pattern that I'm now trying to, well, picture for you, because I said even if a very few people watch it, I can boost it, by the way. That's not a bad idea. We'll see what happens. If I like myself talking, I'll upload it now. I watch it these days, and if I like the talk, maybe I'll be posting some comments on my own, because I'm pretty sure I have, while you're talking before camera, you're always, or at least me, I don't know, if you're not a professional, you're literally missing things. And yeah, I'll see what I can do about it. Maybe I'll shoot another video next week, for example. We are making a channel about financial stuff now, like financial literacy. Mostly we're meeting the people with interesting people that are still not extremely rich, but are on the right track, so to speak, and they're around the average now, middle class, I would say, but they're progressing, they're scaling, most of them, and we are actually talking about the way to happiness, and mostly financially, the financial factors, but not only. We are focusing on the how to make enough so you can feel happy. So it's an important topic. It's like the basis of economy. Everyone, personal, like, personal skills, personal decisions have to be made around that to have enough to live happily, to be able to maintain a little bit more, to have some fun and to balance all the things. And of course, if you get the opportunity to become financially free, that's the best way possible, because now you can give the world the best from you, cause you're not limited to working for something that's not your own thing, that's not the flag above your head, etc., etc. So yeah, having a brand is recommendations now. Having a brand is still one of the best things, because these things will be valuable tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. If it's your own signature, your own trace you're leaving, your own trace in the sand, in the snow, etc., etc. It's like, it is very important to do that. If you understand how the world is going now, that brand of your own, it will still count after 10 years, most probably. It doesn't matter if it survives, of course. And you have to understand each and every other. It could be literally made by so many ways to prosper with your own brand nowadays. And that's the main target I shall be recommending to most people. If you don't have that, but you're close to creating one, just do it. Something that you really believe in. I don't think you shall do something that's just valuable. Just valuable. You gotta be able to focus on it in the coming 5 to 10 years at least. It has to be something that's really learning for you. You wanna continue doing it. You wanna continue, um, you know, learning about it. You wanna continue growing in that niche, etc., etc. It has to be your own thing. That's my recommendation. Many people can tell you, no, make your money and then maybe that's a possibility and then you have something on your own. But I wouldn't focus on anything that could fail now, because everything is super volatile and most of the things are more likely to fail than ever. But also we got a bigger potential now, so practically you can literally plant a seed and it can grow Yggdrasil in an Yggdrasil tree, and you didn't even expect it. And on the other hand, you can grow and nurture a seed and it can go nowhere at all, like not even not even a little bit. So that can also happen nowadays. It's very, nothing is certain. We're going into a more chaotic age that we are used to. So I think that's one of the ways, but you can also multiply, like I said, some capital, and you have to escape that rat race now. If you are doing it, do it now. If you are not doing it, most probably in the future there will be a place in the world where for people that didn't choose that in this exact moment, or if they didn't scale their own projects, let's put it that way, this year to a certain level, for everyone else that's left, like in the uncertainty of the absence of financial freedom. And I don't mean independence. I mean freedom, when you don't have to work for your wage or your salary, for your paycheck to paycheck way of life. So if you're not out of that now, if you don't escape now, very soon, maybe we'll have another 3 years, I don't know, but it will happen very soon, when you lose that opportunity for quite a while. I would say maybe it won't return anytime soon. There will be some possibilities, but it will be so much harder, I would say. At some point it will become so much harder that it would be mostly impossible. And I can explain why is that happening, and many won't agree and will say, but the artificial intelligence will help us grow businesses from nothing. Yeah, but see, there's a big red flag here. First of all, yeah, AI will help us absolutely significantly in each and everything we are doing. But when the competition, I have AI, you have AI, he or she has AI, etc., etc., when the competition between AIs starts, it will be like we have seen that phenomenon in the dropshipping niche, in the like affiliate marketing. So it's around the social media. You got some engagement, so you can sell some products. It doesn't matter if they're your own or not. When the competition grows significantly, when like a percentage of the world starts doing that, because it's better than the 9 to 5, for example, it's got much bigger potential. You're seeing how much harder it becomes to the average person to join the game now. Because at the beginning, I remember around me people making tons of money, literally millions, and the money was still more expensive than it's before the big inflation, the giant inflation that is happening a lot lately, you know. So money were costing more. People were making easily millions from starting a dropshipping business, and now it's very hard to join. It's possible. It's still possible, of course. Many people will say, "You still can do it." Yeah, you can, but it's so much harder. Than you have to now evaluate if it's your thing, if it's worthy trying, because you can fail, I don't know, 20 times before you find your winner and start drop shipping business that's really profitable. And yeah, that's what I mainly think um, about the situation now. The AI will start. It will start where we will be observing the phenomena. We will be experiencing the phenomena when your AI have to be competitive with the other AIs, and that means you gotta pay more and more and more to upgrade it and be adequate about it. So this is another skill set. You gotta start scaling literally. You gotta go to the next and the next level in that. So your AI have to be can be competitive. It's still early, yeah. In the next few years, most probably you can do that. You can focus on that. If you start focusing on that now, you still have your chances, because many people are still, I guess, around, I don't know, 12 to 20 something percent of the people are using, yeah, the potential, the like bigger potential of the AI, maybe like to the higher end, not the other way around, but or averagely, like that are already using it in their businesses, in their lives, in their profession. Most probably it's around less than, I would say most probably it's less than 20% of the people, and competitively I would say less than 10 for sure. And so it's still early, but at some point it will become like the internet. Everyone will start using it big time. Um, as many people as the people that are using internet now, most of the world, 90% for example, 80%. And yeah, not all of them will be so competitive, but it will start becoming so significantly harder to literally progress in that niches that are only AI based, like to it's like deploying people, it will become expensive, it will become risky, many projects will fail, many, like, the AI will still book a little bit more. It's got significantly more like potential than a person. Mostly, I'll say it will be like that, but it will bug from time to time, it will glitch, it will fail, it can get hacked from time to time, most probably, which can be really bad for one business if its AI got hacked and start spamming, for example, some BS, etc., etc. So yeah, I didn't want to go that far in explaining that thing, but you understand it won't be super easy from now. Ready Player One, most probably some scenario like that will also come intact, and many people will start generating their main income from, for example, games, play to earn games, etc., etc. I guess that will happen. That's about to happen. It's a little bit like the exact scenario of the Matrix, because if people start playing games with VR and that's their main activity, it will change many. Like, you understand, it's a dangerous idea. I won't say it's a bad, not at all. I would love to see that there are already people making their living out from play to earn games, but a very small percentage, of the people working like streamers. Of course, there are many streamers. It's a business model that's, I would say, commonly seen around most of the countries. To be a streamer, to be a gamer, that's something you can earn from, big time or small time or average time. It doesn't matter. But you can earn, you can make a living from that, being a gamer. But from play to earn games without streaming, without making content, without all those sophisticated algorithm, etc., attention that you need to pay, all that stuff you need to know and to configure a working system as a streamer. Just from play to earn, there were economies, there were places on earth that, for example, people were living out from Axie Infinity. And not cause I guess most of those people didn't exactly love that game, because you can see for yourself it's lovable, but from very few people. Most people were only or mostly playing it because it had and I think it still has some earning potential, and in some location it was possible to live from it, and many people actually embraced that idea. Some of them didn't even, because you understand, poorer economies, eventually second or third world countries, and some of those people didn't have actually their own device that's got enough power to run X Infinity, which is a very not consuming game in that, and very easy to. I think it was a browser game. It's very easy to play it. It doesn't have requirements almost at all, but they didn't have a device to run it on, so they were going to those places, computer clubs, or how are they called in English, the places where you can, that there are, for example, 20 to 100 computers, desktops, in most cases, and you can pay for 1 hour, for example, to use a certain computer you choose from them, and yeah, so many people were going to such places to play X Infinity to earn. You can check. That's a very interesting story. So practically we have already seen that phenomena. Some people were even making big time money. A very small percentage of the people playing it's play to earn is mostly crypto based nowadays. So we have seen that phenomena happening. It's a very romantic idea, but it has never happened on a massive level to that point, and I guess we will see that very soon. AI gaming, etc. We'll start seeing that more and more often. So this will be some of the deployed people will at least play, which is kind of cool, I would guess. So some of the old 9 to 5ers will start playing to earn literally their salaries, which is kind of okay, because we don't need many of the professions, won't need many of the professions in the near future. We don't already some of them, but in the near future AI can take over many positions, which I think is great. I personally don't think some of those things have to be done from people. It's just degrading for the people. It's not giving them anything. I'm just telling you, can you please push that button 20 times a day, and I'll pay you for that. And now you're degrading because you're pushing a button 20 times per day. It's not that simple, I understand, but figuratively speaking, there are professions like that have that are using a very small percentage of a fragment of the human potential. So you don't really need people for those kind of professions, and there are professions that are extremely technical, and they literally don't need any sophisticated skill set once again, and very simple tasks have to be repeated in certain ways, and that can also be done by AI, and I don't see why people would be working that if we can avoid that. So I guess, in my opinion, AI taking over most of the professions nowadays like most of the conservative professions, is a good thing. In my own opinion, it's more good than bad, and it has to happen at a certain point, because we gotta stop this phenomenon of people losing their lives um, on a profession like pushing a button. I understand no profession is that easy, but there are so many professions that are not making you skill in any possible way after the second year, for example. You can't learn that skill better. You already know 100% it's mastered. You have to move on, but you are not moving on because they're paying you to do exactly that, and that has to be taken by AI. And yeah, that's an AI profession for sure. And there are some sophisticated also. On the other hand, there are some sophisticated professions that need calculative power much more than the human mind can actually breach, you know. So there should be people that are somewhere in the, you know, uh, controlling, navigating these processes. But on the other hand, it has to be done by AI, and it's already happening. It has to be done by computers, but AI will help greatly and is helping greatly, because some of the processes can be performed by human minds already that we are using. They has to be like categorized, etc., etc. There are so many micro processes running all at the same time that no human brain can process that nowadays. So, or at least it's almost impossible. I'm pretty sure there are such phenomena that are absolutely impossible. And I mean, even if with the potential of the human mind being used on, I don't know, 93%, for example, that it still won't be able to comprehend that computing power, because we know we are not using nowhere around 100% of our brain. So practically, even if we used much bigger percentage, most probably we wouldn't be able to perform like those sophisticated technology, you know, computers and quantum computers nowadays. So many options. So I think you should focus on escaping if you don't want to go into the play to earn. Even if you want to, it won't happen. You won't be in control of that process. When people start to, when we see many people starting to play to earn, which will be interesting, then you can join it. You can be sure you can join. We don't know. It can happen in 20 years. It could be in the further future than we expect. It can happen this year, next year, also after a few months. 5% of the people started to live from play to earn games, paying their taxes, etc., etc. It will be interesting, but I expect it in the a little bit further future. Other professions will actually require a very significant and sophisticated, certain focused and a very, so to speak, deep understanding in a certain niche knowledge and skill set, and they'll be high paid, but you most probably people will work around 10 to 12 hours 5 days per week or equivalents of that, because you need less people, but such people that understand the whole process, and you can't just deploy more. You have, because you can't separate some tasks from others, and I don't think so many people will be able to do that technically. So high paid but extremely hard to execute professions, like on a daily level. You can't even we can't even explain it in the next, for example, 20 years from now in the future. Most probably we wouldn't be able nowadays to realize, to dream exactly what, to imagine exactly what kind of professions those will be. But let's say that that's the ideal type of like explanation. Let's say in the next like 5 years or something like that, you need to be extremely dedicated in what you are doing, and it will be extremely technical. So once again, so it won't be fun, but you make significant amounts of money. How do I know that? Well, let's just say I'm watching what's happening. I'm trying to understand what's happening in this world from um, learning from history, learning from what's happened to this point, etc., etc. And I have some, um, let's put it that way, sources of information that has never failed. And what I'm saying now is, and it's not a source of information. It's not like I have read it somewhere. There are so many patterns that are just fitting perfectly in each other, and many predictions were made what is about to happen. Let's put it that way. It's not a prediction, it's a blueprint. It has to happen, and it's happening now, and I didn't expect it to happen on that scale so soon, but it's happening on that level of accuracy, and it's happening even a little bit before the period it was meant to happen. Let's put it that way. So practically everything is just being manifested from those scriptures. It's not exactly scripture, it's blueprint for the world and what's about to happen. Let's put it that way. First of all, we most probably can see the near future. We can most probably see the further future, etc., etc. If we try hard. It's not like a vision like from the eyes, but there are ways. Maybe that has happened, but that's not the interesting thing about the story. Let's say we are living upon the milestones that have been put historically before us, so we can build on them. So practically, what will happen now is more predictable than in any. There are different scenarios, yeah. There are variations, of course, but it's more predictable than it has ever been, because we have chosen the exact path of technology, like high tech, etc., etc. So it's very predictable now, because it's a binary system. You understand that it's based on binary system. Let's put it that way. So practically everything will scale in a certain pattern. Let's say, like for example, Fibonacci is such pattern. So how's that called in English? It's progression. Mathematical progression. It's progressing in a certain way, very similar to 2, 4, 8, 16 is doubling itself, etc., etc., 32. And we're seeing that now it's happening in many ways of this world. But not only that, we can predict exact movements that are yet to happen now, because we are in such an environment that has put targets like 30 years from now. We have already put our targets. The science have already put. Something will come that's different what's expected, some great innovation, something that we didn't expect. It's true, but the overall progress of history from now will be predictable, and it is predictable. And now the social phenomena are something that's extremely more predictable than anything else, because the masses have a certain mindset that's practically socially constructed from the moment they were born. Most people are working on those norms, those patterns. You understand, they're not so different, they're not so unique. Of course, everyone is unique in his or her certain way of that term, but on the other hand, the masses are predictable and not so like, they're more fixed than fluid, I would say, like the human consciousness sees. So practically for them, it will be, for most of the people, it will be, or for us, it doesn't matter how I put it. It will be predictable to see where are we going in the near future, especially now, and what will be happening. And now I was shooting that video because I have already seen some of the, let's say, milestones, so some of the waypoints, so some of those places you need in order for your strategy in the long term to work on, to literally to work to be applied in the most efficient and best way possible. Let's put it that way. I'm seeing it's happening already, and I actually told the people will be more like aggressive about it. Will be writing a little bit more, and I don't think writing will fix anything. I don't think that is the best way possible. People will have to just understand more, and that's why I'm shooting that video. If you understand better the situation, what's happening and what's about to happen, I think I think you'll be much more adequate in your decisions in all that you're actually making in the future, because it will literally, your life will depend on that. Your life choices will now be more, the responsibility will grow. It will be more important than they ever was, and that they ever were. And yeah, that's totally a fact, I think. And you shall understand, if you don't choose to escape from the conventional work, from the paycheck to paycheck, from the salary wage way of lifestyle. If it's not a very significant salary, I would say, if you're earning more than like 50k per month, maybe you can continue with that. Most probably those positions will be still intact in the next 10 or 15 years, but many of the other sectors, many of the other positions, even the specialists, many of them will have to make dramatic changes just to continue in the parable that they have, in the trajectory they have chosen for themselves, and it won't be fun for most of those people. So it's either free yourself from the chains of like paid job, the paycheck expectation way of lifestyle, when someone else is paying you, or at least build several riders of income, money streams, that are additional, so you can eventually work it out from them. Literally, you can live from them even if something happens to the main activity. But yeah, I'll say make projects on yourself, make projects that will work for, make your money work for you and not the other way around. So yeah, more important than ever, and there are facts backing that. It's one of the last years, I guess. I was expecting 2024 to be one of the last years, and actually it was. I have made videos like that. I think even if in that channel I have made videos like that. Now I am certain I wasn't wrong. I am absolutely certain, and many people will tell you the same, most probably. But believe me, I am stepping on literally, I would say, information that's literally uncompromisable. It's literally, it has worked on 100%. I just can't believe you can make it be so accurate, because you can make it be, I mean, if you understand some of the patterns, you see them everywhere, and it's something that's only logical. You can only use logic. Even if you use only logic, it will still work. It will still be a fact. It will still be applied to like you understanding that it's happening, it's true, it's there, and it's predictable. So now we know what will happen next more than ever. I would say all those people that have gathered that information and gathered those different sources that are telling us the same patterns, literally the same patterns, and that we are now seeing it's happening, it's really happening. 2024 was the last year that has already made it complete. Now I'm absolutely sure it will happen the exact way those patterns are leading to. Like, many factors can change. I don't know the exact future from, but I know the patterns we are being pushed through and put in a different direction. Everyone can use a different word. Someone can even use the word ascent. Pulling to a higher ground, etc., etc. But for sure, most of the things will be changed in extreme ways. That for many people, that most probably I'm trying to reduce the stress from what's about to happen. Many people won't expect it. They know about it. Even many of those people I'm talking to and talking about now, the masses, the average person, he knows about it. He expects it. But when it happens, he won't be ready, because he'll be like, most probably it won't happen so soon, but it's too harsh to be true. I know it's most probably happening, but... And when it happens, he is not ready. Oh no, it really happened. Yeah, you were expecting it in a way. And that's what I'm trying to reduce, that stress from what's about to happen once again. And it's important. So make the right decisions. If you are trying to escape the system, make it like the system. If you want to have a certain amount of financial freedom and freedom overall, now's the last chance. Of course, there are other ways to generate freedom, so to speak, that are not financially influenced so much, connected to the finances, to the capitals you own, and to your property, etc. But in nowadays society, like I said, it's much harder. So if you are planning some of the other ways, for example, first of all, I'll say it won't be so much possible to rejoin society if you choose one of the other ways in quite a while. You'll be alienated even more than what has happened to the monks, for example, nowadays. They're kind of alienated from society, or let's say those old school monks are alienated, and there are new school monks that are using smartphones, etc., which is an interesting phenomena. So if you upgrade, most probably you can make some amalgama, like for example a monk with a phone, with a smartphone. If that's a possibility. Also, I'm just imagining different ways of the variations of successful variations of an average person that has nowadays that has chosen one of the right paths and avoided some of the bad, the wrong decisions, so to speak, for himself, so he can be happy. That's the most important thing, because many people will fall in a place that they can't easily get back from. It will be like, you can imagine black hole, for example, will just consume, will just be like a vacuum, literally pulling some of the souls, and I wanna avoid the most from it possible. Like, yes, many other people will do better than me, but the most important thing is to share what you're seeing to try to help, at least to try to help it with the most you can. And that's it for now, guys. I'll be most probably shooting videos like that, a little bit shorter than that hour and 10 minutes video. Thank you very much. Bye bye, and we will see you soon enough.